Okay, Joe Leigh here, 4 seconds out of George Groves at the Wasserman Boxing HQ in central London. George, how are we?
I'm very good, thank you. Very
good. So we're here to obviously celebrate Sauerland's kind of new chapter on Sky with Chris Eubank Jr. and many other fighters. Obviously, he's the big name that's going to be fighting on October the 2nd with a good undercard as well. Obviously, let's start there. Chris Eubank Jr. Sven Elby's fighting a German. Do you know much about him as a fighter? And kind of what do you make of Chris Eubank Jr.?
I've got to be honest, I don't know too much about the opponent. And I know there was talks like when I was speaking with Kalle and Dean at Wasserman here before they even announced the sort of the Wasserman merge. Then they were talking about Eubank being in a big fight in the summer, but he lost his brother recently, which must be horrific. Who knows how tough that is? So I feel like maybe the pressure's been dialed down a touch, but we still want to keep him busy. He's going to be out in October 2nd, and then looking for a huge name. Big fight, pay-per-view fight, maybe next. But it's exciting. Wasserman. I'm here today, like in no real official capacity, apart from I was a Wasserman client. Still am to a certain degree. They looked after my commercial activity from after the first Roch fight, and right the way through to the end of my career, and even near the end of the career, they took on more and more responsibilities for me. They were helping negotiate contracts and real management stuff. And that came from Dean Baker here, as well as the guys underneath him, Damien Hawley and Duncan Ross, who they love their boxing, they're passionate about boxing, and they're putting together something great. But what was it going to be? And they decided to buy Sauerland Promotions. So now it's they've come underneath the Wasserman umbrella, which was really predominantly a football agency here in the UK, as well as many other things, but they really want to have a go at boxing. They're using the expertise and experience and knowledge and contacts of Kalle and Nisse and their team, and they're going to have a go. And it starts off with some dates on Sky. They've inherited the fighters that Sauerland had, the big marquee name obviously being Chris Eubank Jr., and they've made a bunch of new exciting signings here, and some of these I'm meeting for the first time today. I'm excited. I spoke with Dean and I said, like, what's your plans? Like, you love boxing. What do you want? Like, what's it going to be? And he spoke about wanting to take on all comers. They want to be the biggest promotional outfit out of the UK, and obviously I know that's going to take some time. I said, well, how about go out and you got the marquee name with Eubank. You might have a couple, and obviously there's some great fighters like Hergovich and Breedis and that are around Europe and around the world, and sign up some exciting fighters. Some might even end up getting some Olympians, some prospects, and then take them on a journey. Show people that you can bring fighters right the way through. Give confidence in novice fighters that you get them to the opportunities, and it's up to them to take them. And I believe they can do that, and I'm here to vouch for both outfits and together and explain how strong they are, and just be a living example of the opportunities that Sauerland and Wasserman presented me. It took me a long time to get there. I've fucked about enough times, but the fourth attempt got there and retired at 30. And happy. Not many people get to do that, and I owe so much thanks to both sides of the organisation, now Team Wasserman Boxing, for that.
Can we expect to see you in some capacity working with these guys on the broadcast?
Broadcast, I love it. And that pretty much it's always down to the broadcasters whether they want to have you involved. And I've been told, hopefully they don't change, that'd be embarrassing, but I'm covering the October 2nd.
Oh, you are?
I'm working with Sky that night, so I'm excited about that. Sky now trying to do a little revamp, relaunch. Obviously they're working with new promoters. They've got Boxer, who have their their tournament thing, as well as they're going to be kind of involved in the promotion, like the other promotions. But Wasserman in, obviously they've got the link with Top Rank. So Top Rank, again, they're inheriting fantastic fighters, some of which are British, like Josh Taylor. I think Josh Taylor's probably the most exciting fighter in the UK right now, purely the fact that he's in a great division, undisputed champion, and then the huge names that he's got, whether he wants to go up or down. And he's got nuts, Josh. Like he'll fight anyone. He's always an entertaining fight. So great for Sky. Really exciting for UK boxing fans in general, because you've got DAZN now, which is going to have to create new ground. They're going to have to over-deliver at the start because it's brand new. The fight's going to be great.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like household names. Well, there's loads of. They took all the household names in terms of British boxing, barring a few. So I'm excited to see their development and how they bring on their fighters. And now it's up to Sky to, you know, come at them with something else. So it can only work out for the British boxing fan.
Yeah, and as you say with the zone, we're not sure yet what AJ's going to do after the fight with Usyk. Obviously, he's got one more fight on his contract, and that's going to be with like Sky in the UK. What do you think AJ should do?
AJ should do what's best for him, and that's kind of like the impossible question at certain times. It depends what money's on the table for him, what his mindset is, and what he wants left out of boxing, and what sort of legacy he hopes to build. Now, I'd love to see him if he gets through Usyk, and that's a big question mark. I think Usyk is a phenomenal talent. I'm not even a secret Usyk fan. I'm a big Usyk fan. And even if Fury gets through Fury gets through Wilder, you know, because that's not a foregone conclusion. You know, Wilder might have reinvented himself. He's got that
shadow boxing in the scene now.
That equalizer power. Is that what it is? Yeah. Well, if that works for him, then you'll see a whole bunch of new fighters doing the same thing. So, but if them two fight, I think more than anything, I'd love to see that fight take place in the UK. That'd be at a Wembley Stadium. Not. Who am I to tell people whether there's mega money involved, whether they can't go abroad and have it? But for their own legacy, for their own, to look back when it's all done and dusted and say, Joe, what? I had the mega fight in front of the British fans, and it was so much bigger for that than it would have been. I fought in Saudi, I fought in Vegas, I fought all over the world, I fought on every television network, everything. But you know, one of the people always stop me in the street about is obviously Wembley Stadium.
I think it's a great person to talk to about this, because everyone's saying, oh, they go Saudi Arabia, they got a lot more money. You've still got a nice shiny watch on today. It's you know, there's a lot, obviously, there's a lot of difference with it being in Saudi Arabia, but can you kind of speak from experience of how much that changed your life, and actually boxing in the UK, being able to sell out Wembley Stadium in a huge fight, probably the biggest fight of the decade at the time?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easier said, money isn't everything, but you know, and some things are just too hard to walk away from. But I got a feeling both men will want that. Both men will want that fight, that history fight, and it won't quite be the same if it's not in the UK. Like, and you can use examples of, like, you know, where Ali was on the road, like, you know, Thriller Manila and all these things, but it's not the same. Like, it's a different era, different platform, different setup, different everything. I just think, from my own personal experience, the big UK fights is what it's all about. And two Brits fighting and unifying the heavyweight division, it has to be in the UK. There ain't a stadium big enough for it, you know, but they're gonna have to make do.
I think the only kind of thing that you could think of to make it better was the first fight in Saudi, the second in the UK, and I believe it's probably going to be a 2-fight contract as well, so that kind of makes up for it.
Yeah. I mean, if that's how it is, that's how it is. But if I'm Joshua, like, Joshua's got nuts. He's 100% got nuts. Like, he backs himself, and rightly he should do. You know, I saw an interview or a clip of him actually talking and saying he's experienced now, and he is. And you've got to have that level of experience and that self-assurance to take an Usyk fight when you've got potentially a Fury fight, you know, down the line, because Usyk could be that banana skin. He's not John Ruiz, who should be a down and out, zero, no help, and morbidly obese. Like, this is just, you know, a bit of a farce, and then he gets that shock. Usyk, he'll be preparing for properly. He would have anyway, whether he'd had the Ruiz mistake or not, I believe, because proof's in the pudding. Undisputed cruiserweight champion, moved up to heavyweight, hasn't really put a foot wrong. Very skilled, Olympic champion, class act, you know, and he's hungry. He wants the belts. I can imagine Usyk's buzzing for a Joshua fight, because he probably thinks this is an easier fight than Fury, and of course he wants to be a heavyweight world champion. Yeah,
and someone obviously on the undercard who you previously fought, Callum Smith, fighting Castillo, who's at light heavyweight now. How well do you think Callum Smith can do at light heavyweight?
I think light heavyweight will suit him. He's obviously got crazy height, you know, I think he's 6'4", so he's going to carry the weight well. I thought he looked weight drained in the fight against Alvarez. You know, he didn't really get out of the blocks. he was very flat, and that's usually the sign of someone who's weight drained. And throughout his career, he's had flat performances. You know, he's been known for that. So that might be all down to weight making or something. So maybe a new lease of life, light heavyweight, might do him some good. He's working with Buddy McCurtain now.
Yeah, he's
so
out in America.
He's out in America. As long as that's exciting for him and not a grueling grind, then he's, you know, we expect to see something better, because you know, he's got to a point in his career where he's probably decided that he just maybe needs a change. I hope there's been no falling out with Joe Gallagher. It's purely just that, like, our relationship might have just run its course and let's have a change. And Buddy's obviously a tremendous coach, very experienced. Hopefully he's living the life out there and loving it, you know, rather than putting himself in that hurt locker day in, day out, grueling, grinding it out just because this is the way to resurrect his boxing career. If that's the case, then it might not be too cool. So I know he's got a young family now, and he is a family man. So hopefully he's out there, he's having a great time, and we're going to see something, you know, a new lease of life from him. I think light heavyweight can suit him. There's some really good light heavyweights out there, and there's some great light heavyweights here in the UK. So let's see if we can make some fights.
It's probably the most stacked division in domestically in out of all the weight divisions at the moment, in my opinion. I know you just spoke about Callum Smith being a family man. His brother, obviously Liam, got a big fight October the 9th, is it? Wow, there's so much boxing. I think it's October the 9th in Liverpool. What do you make of that fight against Anthony Fowler? And
is that October 9th? It's come on real quick.
I'm
I thought
thinking
that was
BT
next year.
and then Deontay Wilder versus Fury as well. Smith Fowler is October the 9th, yeah. Wow.
John, that's interesting fight. I mean, they're two Liverpudlians who happy to speak their mind. I saw Fowler last week. He looked in great shape. And I saw his sparring partner he brought over. He ain't messing about. You know, he's preparing diligently for this fight. Sparring partner. It's a big step up for him, a real big step up for him. I think he's enjoying his boxing a lot lately, boxing with Shane. Shane's got him a little bit looser, he was a bit too stiff, you know, at the start of his career, got a few things wrong. And for him, maybe this is the right time to get Smith. Smith's obviously, he doesn't want to be in that category of like Expo champion name, but always the opponent, like just someone put out there against these real good prospects to get beat. He'll be super confident for this fight, I believe, Smith. And I'll pick him as the favourite. Probably hopefully, and I'm sure it will be a great one to watch.
Did you see Liam Smith's last fight in Russia?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
but it was a tough fight.
Yeah, it was. He won the fight, and he knows that. It's obviously frustrating for him going out there, not getting the decision. It was almost like the real life Rocky for him. But he's coming back over, and this is, I guess you could say, a resurrection, and the winner fights for the world title.
Yeah, he's a really skillful fighter, Liam. I remember Liam. We were on the squad together. We went and boxed in a couple of multi-nations together, but he's probably the most skillful of the Smith brothers. Skill-wise, I rate him above Callum. Callum just got probably that size and that strength, you know, pound for pound sort of thing. But yeah, and they're the two brothers with nuts. Like they're Paul and Stephen. They just seem a little bit too relaxed. They're the nicer guys. Whereas the other two are the ones that you didn't want to like be a noisy neighbour, because they could flip a switch at some point. So especially Liam. But yeah, good guys, great for boxing, and looking forward to the fight. When it was Shane McGuigan told me about it. Obviously he's looking after Fowler before it was made, and he said, "What do you think?" Great fight. I said, "It's not an easy fight though for Fowler," and he said, "Nah, but we believe we know what we're doing. We got him." So they're a confident camp. Let's see if they can do it.
I do want to bring something up on from the weekend. You don't have to have watched the Oscar Valdez fight, but kind of before that, he tested positive for, I think it was fentanyl. It managed to go ahead the fight. I've only watched the highlights, so I don't want to say that he lost the fight, but most people, having looking on Twitter and things like that, believe he lost. Kind of just based on the drug thing, he shouldn't have been able to fight. It was a bit of a disgrace to boxing, in my opinion.
It's not boxing though, is it? That's how I see it. It's not boxing. It's just entertainment. It's entertainment. So, you know, if you're an actor, a Hollywood actor, you can take as much gear as you want, and as long as you look the part and you go out and perform and act, like, take what you want. That's not sport. It's not boxing. You shouldn't be given a license. It should be something else. It should come under some other form of licensing or something. But so if they want to dope, if they want to cheat, by all means, fill your boots. Fill your boots. I mean, I don't know what the side effects are. I hope they don't kill you one day. But it's not boxing. And that's the message that I believe should go out to people. It's not boxing. That's why they're doping.
Well, if you want to see some boxing, October the 2nd, where George will be, are you going to be on commentary?
I hope so. Yeah. Sky said they want me in for Eubank. So if all goes to plan, I'm going to be in for the Eubank card at Wembley Arena. Exciting, good. Back chatting shit behind the mic.
Back in Wembley as
comfortable
well.
Place to be. Wembley, I can't guess that's the only place I like to go these days. Yeah.
There we go. Thanks for that.
Perfect.
Appreciate it. Nice one, George. Thank you.